Hello again, this is Attorney Dominique Cam, also known as Champion of the Pseudonyms. Today we're here to talk about knowing your rights, filming the police, and resisting public officer charges. Um, Side note, my forehead really isn't as big, it's just the way that the lighting and the camera set up, but that's neither here nor there. So today we're going to talk a little bit about knowing your rights, and we're going to kind of walk through something very specific, which is filming the police. When you are filming the police during any altercation, it's a couple of things that we want to make sure that you understand here from Freedmen Law Group. Number one, you're able to do it, but there's rules that come with this. Number one is keep a safe distance from the action. You don't want to be involved in it. You don't want to be where somebody can touch you. And safe distance can mean different things depending on the outcome. So if someone is swinging a bat and there's multiple officers involved, there's going to be more distance that's required for someone being arrested by a single officer, whether it's a one-on-one transaction. So don't become a part of the action. Audio is cool, but most important part is the video, because you need to see what's going on, when it's going on, and video is that objective thing. Number two, make sure that you have a steady hand and you have a good camera. You want to be able to see the good video. Like I said, audio is cool, but more important is video. Now, heard different things on this, and I'm going to roll with this depending on when you start the video. If you start the video at the beginning of an altercation or before something is popped off, you might want to state your name, the date of where you are, the location, the brief summary is kind of what's going on. So, my name is Jonathan Bohannon. I'm on the corner of Farmer and Dunlop. And right now we've been pulled over because the officer told us that we have a busted tail light. But the way that his attitude is going, I'm concerned about what's going to happen. And leave it at that. Or, my name is Chris Burnett. I'm in the corner of Farmer and Dunlop. And I'm watching two young men being accosted by the police for no reason. I've been watching two young men being accosted by the police, and right now they're in handcuffs. So you want to kind of keep it objective. You don't know what the officer does or does not know. You want to keep your comments out, your jokes out. You don't want to interfere with the audio because you might miss something. And even if you think that you're charming or witty, you're filming this for strangers, so you don't know who your audience is. And to make yourself more credible, you want to keep it as objective and fact-specific as possible. So you may think that there's no reason, but you don't know what the officer says or what the officer's reasoning is. You just want to keep it to, right now I'm watching a guy being arrested, and he says he didn't do anything. So when you're making this record for strangers, you want to keep it neutral. Last but not least, when you're filming, if you're trying to get someone's badge number, it may be in your best interest to wait till after the arrest has been effectuated. So let's say they're arresting somebody else separate from yourself, because it's hard to do that at that point. You can ask for the officer's name, and they should give you the name. And they should give you, if you ask for a supervisor or for their captain or sergeant, they should get those persons on the scene. But you want to make sure that if you're trying to zoom in on the camera and the video, and because they're not giving you a name, wait till after all the action is kind of subsided. Not before they get in the car, but so now that they've placed so-and-so under arrest, and they're sitting there on the side, and say, officer, what's your name? You want to tell? Or you can kind of zoom in on the badge, because at that point he's already been arrested. And if they're not doing an interview and there's not a conversation, you don't want to interfere with that. The number one reason why we kind of tell you to be very strategic in how you handle these things is because of a statute called resisting public officer. It's 14-223 in the North Carolina General Statutes. And this overbroad statute, in my opinion, says it shall be unlawful if any person willfully or unlawfully resists, delays, or obstructs a public officer in discharging or attempting to discharge a duty of his office. And this is a Class 2 misdemeanor. And what that means is resisting arrest is what people think about. Like, okay, well, I didn't run, I didn't do this, that, and the third. But the statute covers way more than resisting arrest. It covers so-called delays or obstructions of police officers trying to do their duties. So I was trying to question someone, and he delayed me by asking me questions. Now, there's some case law on this, but that won't stop you from getting charged on the scene for trying to overtalk the officer or asking questions. And you're allowed to do this from a safe distance. And of course, respect is something that's discretionarily defined and interpreted. But the major thing that you want to keep yourself from being is charged with this overbroad statute which says that this person interfered with me trying to do my duty. So, with that being said, maintain a safe distance, keep your comments to a minimum, try to be objective as describing, quick summary, not the whole story. Just keep it to one aside of this location, and this is what I saw happen, and keep it at that, because you don't want to miss the audio. The video is important, but if you hear somebody screaming, if you hear the officer saying certain things, you want to make sure you capture that as well, and do that from a safe distance. So that's knowing your rights in filming the police. It's lawful to do so. They're not able to take your video camera or your phone that you're recording with in a lot of circumstances. If you're in a traffic stop and you're in a car, I suggest that you get a dash cam video and make sure that you look at the different types of dash cam that you can get, dash cam recorders that you can get. So some of them only look forward, some of them look forward and backwards, some of them have audio. But if you're a black man who gets pulled over frequently, you might want that video to be an objective teller of story if you're by yourself. Because you can't tell your story, for lack of better words, and you can't record. In a lot of cases, you don't feel safe recording, reaching for your camera or holding the camera out. But if you have that dash cam video up, just like they have their own dash cam video which only sees forward and backwards and can connect some audio, you can at least have your own objective perspective before you get to court as to this is what happened, this is what was said. And that goes a long way in kind of protecting yourself even when stuff starts to break down. That's my 2 cents, and I look forward to talking to you in the next Freedmen Fridays.